Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to make a Barbarian build, and more specifically, a build for Karlach.
Fuck yes.
And now YouTube has demonetized us. Thanks, Karlach. This is why you're my least favorite companion. Anywho, before we get started, if you like Baldur's Gate 3 content or RPGs with a lot of build craft, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. That's what we like to do on this channel. So, let's get started.
Now that we're old pals, how would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards?
Up first, we're going to start with character creation. Now, just because I'm making this build for Karlach doesn't mean you need to pick Karlach. When it comes to your race or your background, you can do whatever you want and this build is going to work. Essentially, I like to make builds that are a framework that you should be able to plug and play no matter where you are in your campaign. And it's going to be viable in Tactician and Honor mode. So with our choice of Karlach here, obviously the class we're going for is Barbarian, and we get the Barbarian action Rage. So we're going to deal 2 extra damage to our melee, our improvised weapons, and our throwing weapons. We also gain resistance to physical damage, and we have advantage on strength checks and saving throws. After that, we have our class action here, Unarmored Defense. While not wearing armor, we add our Constitution modifier to our AC. So having high Constitution is really going to help out this class. For our ability points, I'm going to go with something like this. We're going to want 17 strength, and you'll see why later when we go to our feats, our Constitution at 16, our Dexterity at 14, and then I just dump the rest into Wisdom because there's a lot of Wisdom saving throws in this game. So that's character creation out of the way. Let's move on to leveling. At level 2, we pick up Danger Sense, which gives us advantage on Dexterity saving throws against traps, spells, and surfaces. And then we pick up the class action Reckless Attack, which will give us advantage on our attack rolls, but at the cost of enemies having advantage against us for their attack rolls. So a little bit of a double-edged sword there. Moving to level 3, Karlach, why aren't you... Karlach, come on. I didn't mean it that you were my least favorite character. Obviously that goes to Astarion. Okay, all better, right? Now at level 3, we're picking up our subclass and we're going with Giant. And with Giant, we get Vaprex Greed, which our carrying capacity is increased by 1/4, which is actually pretty helpful, although we already are a strength character, so our carrying capacity is already pretty good. And then our Rage gets changed into Giant's Rage, so our throw damage will be increased, and we also become resistant to physical damage. And then we also have advantage on strength checks and saving throws. We do pick up a Cantrip and Thaumaturgy. This can be decent, but let's move on to level 4. At level 4, we don't pick up any like class actions or skills, but we do get our first feat. So now we're going to talk about basically all the feats we're going to get throughout the leveling process. We're going to get it all done right here. The first feat we're going to talk about and the mandatory first pick here is Tavern Brawler. First off, this is going to round out our strength to 18. And what this feat also does is it adds your strength modifier to your attack rolls and damage whenever you use an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something. Tavern Brawler is different in BG3 and it does more damage than say in 5e. But if you're going to do any sort of strength throwing build, you have to take Tavern Brawler first. It's just so good. And the next feat I would pick up at level 8 is probably ability improvement. It would be 18, you'd be bumping it up to 20. Take the potion in Act 2 with Astarion, and that'll be 22 strength, which is amazing for a character like this. And once you hit level 12 for our last and final feat, we don't need to take something like Alert because Barbarians basically get their own like mini intrinsic alert, not as good, but good enough where we'll get +3 initiative and we can't be surprised, so we don't really need to double up with Alert. You can go with something like Savage Attacker, that's not a bad idea. Or hell, even Athlete if you want a little bit more mobility, not a bad idea on Barbarian here. You kind of have a lot of flexibility when it comes to the last feat choice, but those first 2 I would definitely lock in, and the last one's kind of going to be up to you. But that's the feats out of the way. Let's go ahead and get back to leveling. Now at level 5, we pick up our extra attack. We also get an increase to our movement speed by 3 meters. Our class action we pick up is Boot of the Giants. Now this is hilarious. This is a great way to use your bonus action to do a little bit more damage or to push enemies around. I absolutely love this class action and you're going to be seeing more of it in the gameplay section. But that's level 5 out of the way. Let's move on to level 6. At level 6, our build is essentially complete because we pick up another raid charge, which is nice, but we also get our class action Elemental Cleaver. And this does 3 things. The first thing this does is add elemental damage of our choice to our weapon damage. It then adds the thrown property to any weapon we're wielding. And lastly, any thrown weapon will return to our hand. Elemental Cleaver here is what makes Giants so damn good. And yeah, at level 6 here, we're rocking and rolling. Let's go ahead and head to level 7. Now, before we move on to level 7, we will talk a little bit about multi-classing because I think this is now the appropriate level to kind of discuss it. I have been mono-classing lately, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. I'm just having too much fun with it. But anyways, multi-classing. Fighter can be a really good choice. Obviously, at level 2, you're going to get Action Surge, but also something like Battle Master with their riposte reaction ability can be really good too, because as a Barbarian, we're not going to have access to any reactions. Another good choice is something like Thief to have 2 bonus actions. That's 2 kicks or giant boots you can do, which is hilarious. And then honestly, probably the only other multi-class I would consider kind of to fit in theme would maybe be Ranger and going something like Swarm Keeper, because all those swarm benefits will be added to our throne damage. So that could be good too. And hell, you could probably throw some Monk in there as well. And I know technically some of the spellcasters do work with Barbarian, but just thematically and RP wise, doesn't really work for me. But those were the multi-class options I would stick to. Other than that, let's get back to level 7. Now at level 7, we pick up Feral Instinct. This is that mini alert I was talking about in the feat section where it will get a bonus 3 to our initiative, and also we can't be surprised. So we really don't need to take that feat alert because we pick up this at level 7. Let's go ahead and move on to level 8. At level 8, we're picking up our second feat. I'm going to go with Ability Improvement, although later on with items and gear, you could completely nuke your strength stat because there's something like the Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength. There's also the Strength Gauntlets. So strength is one of those stats in the game where there are items later on that are going to manipulate it for you. So eventually at some point you could not need basically strength at all, and you can allocate those points into something else like dexterity or constitution. But for right now, we're just going to bump up our strength and move on to level 9. At level 9, we pick up the class feature here, Brutical. Like mixing brutal and critical at the same time. I'm gonna keep that in there. That's funny. So what this will do is when you landed critical, you will roll an extra damage die as well as your normal additional critical dice. So just more damage. Let's move on to level 10 before I make up some more silly words. At level 10 here, this is a reason why I like monoclassing with giants here, is we get Mighty Impel. This is going to allow us to basically throw around enemies and do a lot of damage with our bonus action on top of doing just our normal giant kick. This is also just hilarious. I'm getting excited for the gameplay section, so let's just zoom on by the last 2 levels here. So level 11, we get our Relentless Rage. So once per short rest, if we drop below 0, we will get 1 hit point instead of being downed. So just a nice survivability feature. And then moving on to level 12, just to finish everything off here, we get our last Rage Charge, and then we get our last feat here. I kind of want to go with Athlete for that additional movement, but also Savage Attacker is really good too. You know what? I'll stick to my guns. I'll go with Savage Attacker here, although I really do like Athlete as well. But that's leveling out of the way. Let's move to the gameplay section where we're going to talk a little bit about equipment, but then we're going to get into some combat. Really quick with some key pieces of equipment you should be looking out for. Early on in the Druid's Grove, get the Ring of Flinging from the vendor there. And then quickly after that, at the Goblin Camp at Grat, you can pick up the Return Pike. Both of these items very early on make this build extremely strong. Now, moving in game here to kind of show off our Act 3 setup, a lot of these items are going to be very good. And usually I like to make my builds like a framework where gear is not required. And so you don't need any of these like pieces of equipment. But for this section here, for this combat section, I am going in juiced. We usually don't, but for this time we're making an exception because I do want to just be this giant Hulk that goes in and just beats the shit out of a lot of enemies all by ourselves. So we do need some equipment to kind of make sure we get that job done, and then also we stay alive. But some of this gear is just strictly, I think it just fits the Barbarian theme. So we got Horns of the Berserker, Cloak of Protection, maybe not so much, but just a good cloak. The Bone Spike Garb here, this is okay. Our giants, our Hill Giant Strength Gloves here, these are really good. That kind of goes along with the Amulet of Greater Health. These are just 2 really good items. Pair that with Baldur's Giant Slayer, really good greatsword here. So you can see we are having some really, I would say, optimized or maximized equipment here, and that's because again, gameplay section, we're going in hard. Now all of our equipment is not technically in the armor category, so you can see with our AC here just how much of a bonus we're getting from our constitution. So 20 AC here with technically no armor, that's really good. Another really good weapon here instead of Baldur's Giant Slayer would be something like Nirulna. It would do a little bit less damage, but the trade-off is you get to do some AoE damage, and also has some additional benefits like a little bit more movement speed, I believe. But that's the gear, that's the equipment. Let's go ahead and get into some combat, and you'll notice I also have a Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength popped, so our strength is up to 27. And yes, Karlach here is just going to be an absolute monster, and you'll see why. There's not too much prepping we're going to do. We already have the Elixir of Hill Giant Strength popped. And then we're also going to use Giant Sword from our weapon here, the Baldur Greatsword. We're going to attack this guard, and then we're just going to get into combat, and all of his buddies in the barracks here are going to join, and it'll be a really good time. So we're going to already start off with Giant's Rage. That way we can use Elemental Cleaver. I think we will choose Fire. That seems very appropriate. And so we're going to do a lot of damage whenever we throw this Greatsword here. So let's go ahead and throw it. Oh. Absolutely melted him. And let me move my big head so you can see the combat log. Now looking at the combat log here, you can see how the damage breaks down, and this is just going to be a crap ton of damage we can do consistently as long as we're enraged, which we will be because we're Barbarian. But we can do this at least twice per turn. If we're hasted, that'll be even more. And then we also have our bonus action to work with as well. So this is just a huge chunk of damage for not a lot of investment. And that's basically our opener. Something to take note when it comes to a throwing build: you can't start an encounter with a thrown weapon and have it returned to you. That's just something in BG3 that doesn't work. So you have to wait till you're in combat to start throwing to have your weapon come back to you. So keep note of that, because I've had plenty of times in a co-op playthrough where my buddy was doing a throwing build. He'd open up the fight and be like, shit, I just lost my weapon. And you look like a fool that way. But that's our opener there. We're going to go ahead and end our turn. And then all these guards are going to come in for a little piece of the giant here. And remember, we're resistant to all physical damage, so we're only going to be taking half damage from that. Now, that Spellcaster, on the other hand, is probably going to be our first target. Just taking a quick look at how much damage they're doing to us, and just not a whole lot. We are mitigating a lot of it because of our chest piece, and then also just being a barbarian. Needless to say, they're in for a bad time. So we're going to take out that mage first. Let's just go ahead and get real close to them. It really doesn't matter. We're not going to have disadvantage for our thrown weapons here. And we just need to find the path. That is the other thing about doing a throwing build. Sometimes the arc of which you're throwing your weapon can be a little finicky, but once you find it, it's just a good time. And oh, beautiful. Now I want to actually pick up one of the guards here and just throw them at the mage. I love it. I love it so much. This is my favorite build to do in co-op now lately, because you're just an absolute menace on the battlefield. You really are just giant, just going around kicking things, throwing people. Oh, it's amazing. Let's continue the good time, and I think we'll throw at this archer up here. Bonk, that hurt you. Now I want to get a critical, so this is a great build to kind of fish for crits. We kind of just walked into that opportunity strike, not sure why, but this is a great build, again, to build into criticals, just for more damage, obviously. But even when they critical us, there's just not a lot of damage they're doing. It's our turn again, and it's just like, you're just too close to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop, kick you out of the way. And then we're going to take our sword, and we're going to throw it again. We're going to deal with this archer, because I think they're safe up there. They're not. And we'll just take another swing, or I guess another throw at... Who can we kill in one shot? Maybe you. Bonk, dead. It's so good, so strong, so strong. And because of our chest piece, they are also just hurting themselves at the same time. I actually want to look around if there's anything super heavy to throw at them. I don't think so. We got this barrel here. Yeah, let's just pick up the barrel, and we'll throw it at probably the cleric. They're going to take their opportunity strikes at me, but I'm not really worried about it. As you can see, I have a crap ton of health. Pick up the barrel, throw it at you. Bonk. I mean, even the barrel does a bunch of damage as well. This is a hilarious build. Now they're dead, and we can throw something else. Oh, these poor citizens here. Well, we're just gonna have to use them as a weapon. Bonk. They're innocent, but it's just kind of funny. He just killed himself. This is a good time. And they have more enemies that are coming into play now too. Oh, they literally just spawned right behind us. Well, hello there, gang. I'll be with you in a moment. In fact, why don't you have your buddy join you? Oh, no, I can't throw him far enough. Fine, we'll just get him. We'll get him like halfway there. So hopefully you kind of get the gist of the build here. I think the rest of the way is just going to be like a bonk compilation of me just killing all of them. Bonk. See ya. Have fun sleeping with the fishes. Is this where you guys spar? Oh, you guys need heavier weights. I'm huge and muscular.
Silly archers, you can't stop me. This crate is my crate, and now it's in your face.
Oh, I missed. Well, fuck.
I'm bored of you little people. I want to go back to the hills and eat some rocks or something. Yeah. Still breathing? Not for long.
Well, wait a second. I can't... What? That's what I told you about that pathing. It's not great all the time. You know what? We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Swing. just an absolute menace. Now, that is the build. Is it the most optimized way to play a giant? Maybe not, but it is a really fun way to do it. But yeah, if you're just here for the build, that's it. If you made this far, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Now, we are going to move over and kind of do a state of the channel just because there's some things I want to bring up, some housekeeping. Well, hello there, everybody. So just a little bit about the channel and moving forward. Now, Baldur's Gate 3, obviously, that's not going anywhere. We love to do builds on this channel, and I do want to stream Baldur's Gate 3 eventually. It's just right now with a newborn, a toddler, and then a crazy puppy. Speaking of puppies, she's right here. I think I have a treat for you. There you are. Here, right here. Here's your treat. Go. Good girl. Anyways, with all those things going on, it's very hard to find time to kind of set up the whole streaming thing. But I do think streaming is something in the future for this channel, just because the way I talk and kind of like the chill vibes, I feel like that would easily translate to streaming. And I think it would be a really good way to have like immediate interaction between like you guys and me for like whatever games we're discussing, and that could be like a lot of fun. But yeah, obviously Baldur's Gate 3 builds are going to continue on. We are doing our versus, I would say, series as well, so that's a lot of like, that's like a change of pace as far as like Baldur's Gate 3 content. We're still just talking about builds and subclasses, but a lot of fun with that one. And now talking about other games coming up. Yes, Ivalice Chronicles, Final Fantasy Tactics, that is coming out at the end of September. So I think late August, early September, I'm going to start doing some OG Final Fantasy Tactics builds to kind of go into the game, to kind of give you an idea of my playstyle and some fun things you can do with my favorite jobs combinations. And that game actually shares like a lot of DNA as far as like build craft that like BG3 has, where a lot of builds are viable and there's just a lot of different playstyles that work, but also the game is very easy to break with like optimized meta picks, but that's not usually what I gravitate towards. I'm talking about like Mathematician for those of you that are familiar with Final Fantasy Tactics. But that is definitely a game we are going to cover. Same deal as like kind of Baldur's Gate 3 where it'll be builds, but I also want to do a let's play of it as well. I would also like to stream it, but again, kind of same issue as we were talking about before. It's just not in the cards, at least this year, maybe early 2026. But I definitely want to do a let's play because it is my favorite game of all time. So I kind of like want my raw experience of the first time going through the Ivalice Chronicles, because there is new content in there as far as there's voice acting, there's going to be more character interactions. It's just going to be like a whole glow up from my childhood essentially. So I'm really looking forward to that, even if it's not, I'd say, the most popular thing on the channel. But I think that's it as far as a channel update. Equipment wise, this mic's got to go. It's a great starter mic, but a lot of issues with it in editing. I don't think it sounds so great as far as like quality. So, but very soon, definitely by the end of the year, this mic will be gone and we will have something that's much better. Hopefully it will sound better and it'll be easier to edit with. But yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully things on the channel are slowly improving quality wise. We did hit over 5,000 subs as well. Wanted to give a huge thank you for that. If you would have told me that this channel would have hit a 5,000 subs in a little bit over a year, I would have called you crazy. So very happy with how things are going, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But yeah, thanks for sticking around for my rambling, and I will see you next time. Peace and take care.